Okay, so I want to show y'all something real quick. Now, y'all see that this tree right here, y'all see that it has a natural barrier, right? So the nature of it is clear. You can see it. You can see one tree, two tree, and then there's like roots right here, like limbs right here. And so these two trees, they are in agreement, right? They're in agreement. They're together. Now, you see these right here. These are strays, things that need to be cut off, right? Now, I attempted, not that tree, but another tree that we have out here, to cut it. And y'all, tree limbs, even if it's like small, I thought I was just gonna like punk the tree, and I was like, this is gonna be a quick and easy job. But I really broke a sweat cutting at the tree. And it brought me back. I was spending some time with the Lord, and he was telling me, he was like, what does that remind you of, right? And so I was thinking about when I was in a lease. Me and my daughter lived on base, and I hated that house. I hated that house because on base, you have to go through a gate to get on base. Most bases, base housing, you have to go through a gate to get on base. And so that means that everybody can't get in, right? And so when you're trying to party and be grown and do stuff that you're not supposed to do and hang out with people that you're not supposed to hang out with, it can be a hindrance to that, right? So then after so much complaining, when you put something in the atmosphere, something isn't good enough. Oh, everything's too short, too small. The Lord didn't gave you a husband, he too short. The Lord didn't gave you a wife, she don't do the things like you feel like it should be done, whatever. The Lord has a way of taking it away, right? So Hurricane Ida comes. That was the Lord taking it away, taking us through a storm. And that apartment got rained in, roof came up, all of that. So we go to another place to live. In this place, the landlord, she wasn't right? Full of demons, right? Dudes popping up at my house. I'm going through warfare. My grades dropped. When we were at the other apartment, I had A's and B's. In college now with a baby, working, all of that, had A's and B's. I'm dropping the C's. I barely make it out of college. It was really by the grace of God that I made it through that. Here's my point. My point is sometimes, you know, we think that we know how to cut. We believe that we know how to do covenant better than God knows how to do covenant, right? But you see, it's like giving birth. When you give birth, if they do a surgical cut, it takes a long time for it to heal because it's man-made. But when you're birthing out a baby and you naturally rip, it's a spiritual thing. Try to follow me. It's a God thing. You naturally allow him to rip you and do it. Guess what? You heal quickly. So now let's go back to our tree, right? So the nature of this tree has allowed it to get these stowaways on the top of it, right? Now, me, a man, not I'm a woman, but mankind, it takes a lot of manpower, sweat, tears for me to get rid of those branches, right? Because the tree, in their agreement, something, their roots, whatever, rain, whatever they allowed into this tree itself, into the agreement between these two bushes, has flourished, right? That's how it is with us. I'm on social media. I'm taking in music. I'm talking to my friends. And so this covenant, let's say a marriage, or when I was on base, this barrier that the Lord has put there to protect me and my daughter, it has been infiltrated. We go to a new house after Hurricane Ida, right? So now we go to this new place, and now it's all man-made cutting. Because now the Lord, he did his job. Like you see, the Lord has naturally separated these things. Covenant means cutting in Hebrew. I feel like it's like monitoring spirits. It's like people that came outside and stuff while I'm recording. Hold on. So when God did the natural cutting of that tree, guess what? It's flourishing. There's no confusion. There's no stowaways. There's no babies out of wedlock. There's no hurt. There's no foundational issues. There's no branch issues because he is the one with the scissors. But when we man-made things, when we cut things, when we allow things into our roots, when we allow things to feed us, our soul, our flesh, our grounding, when we allow things to penetrate our hearts, when we play with the thoughts that the enemy puts in our mind of, oh, I can, if this is this good, then I know that I can get better. That is when we mess it all up, because barriers are not to keep you, it's not to keep you locked up. So many people see marriage, so many people see another person or a covenant or a agreement to God, for God, with God, is like a slavery. Like Adam and Eve, she's like, oh, I'm in this covenant with God and it's keeping me from something, when in reality it's keeping the stowaways from flourishing, which is going to hurt the tree in the long run. Because if we continuously have stowaways growing, what's supposed to be the water that the Lord intended, the things within the soul that the Lord intended, the things that are supposed to be feeding the foundation, the covenant, are now going to these stowaways. And now you have a malnutrition tree. And a malnutrition tree where the nutrients is going to a place that it shouldn't will eventually die. And so now a covenant that was supposed to be used for God is dead. Because we're not dead enough.